You might think this is a little unusual for a Christmas morning, but what I wanted to do as I share the thoughts I have prepared with you this morning is to go back and take a look at the woman at the well. The woman at the well who recently has been presenting herself very powerfully, to the thoughts of my own heart. And I have come to, understand that it was out of a desire to speak about and to share something of the joy of discovering that for which she was made. And what an excellent teacher she is, especially on Christmas Day. You know the story of the woman at the well. You also know that the woman had 5 husbands. And the man she was presently living with was not her husband. They were cohabitating. Was Jesus Christ horrified that she had 5 husbands and was now living with a 6th? No, he was not. It was not a coincidence. It was always part of divine providence that in his travels between Judea and Galilee, that on a particular day, Christ and his disciples would pass through the area of Samaria and stop at a well outside the town of Sychar. And sending his disciples into that town to get provisions, he did so precisely at the hour he knew the woman would be coming to the well to draw water. And when she approached, he introduced himself to her as the one she had been seeking. The total satisfaction and fulfillment of her heart's desires. How many times have I shared that beautiful quote from St. Augustine, "O Lord, you have made us for yourself, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you." We all share that very fundamental and basic human desire to enter into and enjoy an intimate communion of love. But when a person is lost, they pursue that desire and they find themselves sometimes in very unusual and very dark places. But that doesn't mean the desire is wrong. It just means that that person did not have a light to guide them, to interpret for them the desire and what they must do to satisfy it. Shifting gears, let's look at Western civilization. To keep this very brief, I will use the broadest brush stroke possible and just simply say that Western civilization owes its greatness to Christianity. Of that, there is no doubt. About that fact, no one can argue. Simply trust me on that one. You can look into it further at another time. But nonetheless, taking into account the greatness of Western civilization and the Christianity that produced it, we became proud, very proud, and turned our back on God and closed our eyes to the light that guides us. And so when we take into consideration our politics, our culture wars, the violence, war, we look at all these things and we should not be shocked or surprised. Because without Jesus Christ, the light that guides us, we are simply a mass of humanity lost in a sea of human passion. And rather than look upon each other mercifully and with understanding, we are horrified by other people's passions and are scandalized by the way they act upon them, failing to see something of our common humanity. We all want the same things. And so our anger does not serve, nor our disgust. The world, as it is, does not need our criticism. It needs our prayers. It needs the witness of our faith. It needs the witness of our faith to show that there is a light that can guide us to a safe harbor and thus produce hope in the hearts of others. Because so many people are lost and desperately lost. Don't blame them for pursuing what their heart desires. Don't blame them. Look upon them mercifully with understanding and recognize in them your own human weakness. And that, oh, but only by the grace of God I am who I am. No better, no different. What an entirely beautiful thing we are doing today, this morning, to commemorate with a solemn act of worship in gratitude to God that the Word, through whom He made all things, the Word for whom He made all things, the Word by whom all things are held in their existence, appeared today in the weakness of our own human flesh. That's compassion. That's mercy. That's understanding. And what appeared on this night was a light. That guiding light that will lead us to safe harbor. And we're told that that light is the life of the human race. And that life that is the light of the human race certainly was manifest on this day, but would be more clearly and undeniably and abundantly made more manifest on the day he rose from the dead and showed that that life, which is the light of the human race, is a life that cannot be destroyed. And that life was born to us today and given to us. What a beautiful, beautiful gift. To be given a life, to be a light to guide us, to be a witness, to inspire others with hope by the manner and the conduct of our lives, living in this world, as St. Paul says, not as though we belonged in this world, but as sojourners, as passing guests. As I've always said so many times in the past, and just will repeat on this Christmas morning, the reason why we dedicate ourselves to cultivating and living our Catholic faith with the greatest intentional possible is not for our sake, but for theirs. It's not for our sake, so that we can consider ourselves to be better, superior, privileged, on and on, but rather to bear witness to our faith, to bear witness to that hope that has been given to us, a hope that cannot disappoint.